Welcome to the Abrams Dicta YouTube channel. Subscribe today and join me, David Abrams, as I explore the world on my Italian scooter and talk about life, law, art, and any other subject that catches my interest. Also, please check out my blog at abramsdicta.com. Although I'm a licensed attorney, nothing here should be taken as legal advice or counsel. If you're looking to contact me professionally, please go to my website, www.dhabramslaw.com. Well, welcome back to another episode of Abrams Dicta. As far as I know, we're the world's only law moto blog, which is pretty cool. It's nice to be unique. We're in downtown Tallahassee. Beautiful, beautiful day today. Make sure we don't have traffic coming anywhere. And we're going to take a ride over. It's a short ride over to the FSU Alumni Center, where I'm headed to the Tallahassee Rotary Club. And I thought today might be an interesting day to talk about the United States Supreme Court and the significance of the vacancy on the court. With Justice Scalia's death right now, we're running with only 8 justices on the court. We're running a justice short, and we're seeing that have an impact on the court's ability to decide its cases. All right, we've got to go ahead here. Let's go do it. And it's interesting because the Republicans in Congress right now are insisting that they'll block any confirmation hearings on any proposed justices, and President Obama has put forth, and I don't remember the fellow's name off the top of my head, but he seems like a pretty reasonable, pretty moderate choice. And they're basically saying we're not going to give him a hearing. And so it looks like for a while we're going to be left with a court that really can't decide the difficult cases. And you have to kind of wonder what impact that's going to have. And so far, it seems to have a negative impact on the interest of conservative Americans. So it may be that the conservative Republicans behind this may not be a good strategy for them. And I'm not here to tell anybody what their politics should be. I'm just talking about what is the impact of this. But it may be something that comes back to haunt you. Which is always, anytime you take a political strategy or even a legal strategy, you have to look out for the pitfalls in it, and I think there's a big one here that they may not be thinking about. The other thing that I think people may not be thinking about here when it comes to Supreme Court justices and their appointments is that it's very difficult to really predict who's going to wind up being a conservative justice and who's going to wind up being a so-called liberal justice. People's activities and their politics on the bench can be very different than what they do once they get onto the bench. We've seen that historically with a number of justices. So, if you hold out for somebody who you think might be your ideal candidate, maybe not so much. They may surprise you when they get on the bench. And we know that from looking at justices' opinions that the perspective of judges as they stay on the bench changes over time. As they become experienced and as they listen to the arguments of lawyers and they see the social change, I think it impacts how they decide cases over time. So You see justices moving from more extreme positions to more moderate, or kind of shifting from conservative towards more liberal positions, or vice versa over time. You got to remember, these are lifetime appointments. Lifetime, especially if you wind up appointing a judge who's in his late 40s, or her who's in their late 40s or early 50s. That person could very conceivably spend 30 plus years on the United States Supreme Court. So I think Congress is making a big mistake in not giving the appointee a confirmation hearing. I think this is something that could really come back to haunt them, and to the detriment of the nation. At this point, this obstructionism is just it's weakening the Supreme Court. The appellate courts in many of these cases now are going to be the deciders. It won't be the Supreme Court, especially on these tough, close calls. Now, it is important to remember that the vast majority of Supreme Court cases are not 5-4 decisions. You get a lot more cases where there's a majority, an overwhelming majority on one side. But on those difficult calls, the Supreme Court now is not able to make the decisions, and I think that's disappointing, and I think Congress isn't doing its job, and I think at some point we got to get past these politics of obstructionism. I know we don't all agree with each other. I know that there are a lot of different ideas and a lot of different visions, but good Lord, at some point people got to start coming together and making our government function. I'm tired of dealing with a government that can't even pass a damn budget because they don't agree with each other, and they don't want the other one to win. And they, good Lord, let's come together and move forward. This is enough of this nonsense. So that's all I got for you today. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you at the next episode.